There is a place where the lost embers go. As their light begins to fade, Ember ran because standing still made them feel helpless. The wall glistened. The painting showed embers on a sacred journey. Ember felt so afraid and alone that it was a relief to find someone to talk to. Ember froze, almost to when they noticed a small satchel. The satchel felt heavy. Ember looked inside. The statue shone brightly in the light. There was a symbol on the floor. Ember noticed something wrong. There was a round space where something used to fit. To Ember's delight, the golden statue slid perfectly into place. Ember left, feeling sorry for the stranger now alone in the dark. The stairway opened into a dark forest. Ember could feel fear taking over. They'd washed up alone, somewhere very unfamiliar. Ember felt like they were being watched. As Ember approached, the flames seemed to call out. With a feeling like falling, the forest had slipped away. Ember felt lost in darkness and ruin. The caged flame stoked new hope in Ember. was almost within reach. The flame spoke and Ember listened. The flame lingered ahead. Was it trying to escape? Or leading the way? The campfire flickered into life. The ghost spoke. Hope I will warm them until they choose to move on. Ember looked to the ghost for answers. This is a place between places, to travel through as your light fades, but none have passed on in a long time. The Forest King now holds us here, and those who linger will turn forlorn. Again that word, forlorn. The forlorn are those who lost their way along the path. If you find them, send them to me and I will guide them. I am just a guide along the way to fan the flame. So many lost embers have I seen, more than I could help. Ember thought of those they loved, those they'd left behind. There are others lost along their journey. Find them and I will guide them. Step backwards, little Ember. Look behind. Upon a small grassy cliff rests a forlorn. The crow held its shining trophy tight. The key was nestled between the reeds, but it was just out of reach. The stranger whispered, "Ever feel like you are being watched? I've never felt that. What does it feel like? Is it nice? It sounds nice." The worm looked helpless, with no way to escape. As Ember picked it up, the worm let out a little yelp. Inside was a scrap of journal. The strangers on the water went on without me. Where have I landed? Vines and thorns stretch out to trip me. The Wanderer's Diary. Unfamiliar trees, a path overgrown. Is this a resting place? A place between places? I call out, but mine is the only voice. The old gate was locked. It was worth trying, but it didn't fit in the lock. The broken net hung ominously around the skeleton's neck. The stranger shivered in the cold. They'd moved through such dark places. They lay down and closed their eyes. Warmth was a distant memory, stolen by the passing miles. The stranger blinked at Ember. Is it morning already? How long have I been asleep? Barely visible through the murky water was the shadow of something hiding. And on a small pier with barely a sound, a lonely fisherman sat. The Ember was curious. Where did you wake up? I'm headed for the CROSSROADs. It's not far, I think. I've heard there's a nest there, a safe place. The fisherman murmured quietly between sorrowful breaths. The fisherman felt so useless. His former joys were hollow. Sitting out there every day by the pond, only the dark water to hear him talk. In that darkness, a glimmer flickered. A thought beating like a drum. A thought that went round and round. It all started with a frog. Every day by the pond, a constant reminder. For a brief moment, the fisherman struggled to speak. He looked at Ember, hopeful. The fisherman spoke softly. "There's a frog in that pond. A big one. Saw him grow from a tadpole. We were friends of a sort. Spent every day side by side. So much better at fishing than me, that frog is. Catches them before I can bait them. Oh, it makes me feel useless some days." The fisherman sighed. "I've wasted so much time feeling like this." The old man looked carefully at the pond, at their rod, at Ember. "Well, listen to me here, rambling on and on. It helps, though, telling someone. Thank you, Ember. If you need help catching anything, you just ask." The fisherman noticed the broken net Ember was carrying. "Let me have a look. See what I can do." With a silk thread, the fisherman carefully knotted it together. With each knot he tied, a net began to form. "Here you go. Good as new." "You saw the frog? Did the frog mention me? You asked the frog about me. See what they actually... No, just... Please don't tell the frog how much I talk about them." "If you need help catching anything, you just ask." The frog stared at Ember, its belly rumbling. This was not how Ember had imagined the end. The gurgling of water, a deafening heartbeat. But then... the frog returned Ember's good deed by leading them to a lost Forlorn. The stranger stood alone. Their friends have fallen aside, retreating from what came next. The stranger had ventured on. Now they were deep in the woods. It felt so pointless. The stranger spoke hesitantly. Is the campfire crowded? Let me gather myself. I'll see you there. Ember found the Wanderer's diary. The oily smell of frogs. They know more than they will say. They watch me watching them. The stranger spoke. You look hungry, friend. You bring any broth with you? There's a cook in the swamp. Makes a broth like you wouldn't believe. Keep telling them that it doesn't taste right. They'll keep giving you more. He was nestled between the reeds. But it was just out of reach. The old gate was locked. Ember placed the key in the lock and slowly began to turn it. The stranger gasped for breath. Dark water slipping above their head. He didn't care if they sank or swam. Slowly the tides ebbed, washing over old walls. Safe harbor emerging from the inky depths. Ember reached out a hand. The stranger looked down. The ground feels good beneath my feet, friend. The ghost said, "Speak, and I will listen." Step backwards, little Ember. Look behind. Upon a small grassy cliff rests a Forlorn. The ghost said, "Speak and I will listen." The path ahead lies behind that door. Do you wish that I open it? Know that if you return, you will always be welcome. Little one, your journey ahead will not be easy. The path to leave this place is I will guide others to follow after you clear the way. There are others like me who can help. You will always be welcome here in the forest. Once again, Ember could feel eyes watching. Ember uncovered a journal entry. Dusk brings the longest shadows. The lanthorn comforts me. Soft melodies from home. The wild things listen. Yellow eyes in graying trees. Do you know where we are? I've been walking forever, lost in the marsh. The two travelers were talking quietly. Yeah, I got so lost in the marsh, you know? Why go anywhere else if it's safe here? Yeah, never having to worry. The birds scare me though. The two travelers were talking. Yeah, I got so lost in. Why go anywhere? Yeah, the birds scare me though. The guard joked. Another scrawny Ember from the forest. And with a bag looking all nicely and shiny, both guards started looking at Ember with a deathly stare. The guard leered. The Forest King would like you, little scruff. Yes, come a little closer. Let us see what's in that bag. We guard the door to the Forest King. Oh yes, we decide who gets to see the king. The Forest King will want to see you. Yes, come this way. A feeling of foreboding overcame Ember. Ember was terrified but tried not to show it. The giant bird spoke softly. Do not fear, the bird is a friend. Ember wanted to feel safe. Oh, little Ember, birds won't hurt you. Birds will take another under our wing. Stay safe in the nest, you'll never turn forlorn. Ember was still afraid. Is it the night that scares you, little one? Night is gone. Day is here. Birds will make the world less frightening. It wasn't only the night that frightened Ember. The bird was disappointed. Stay? No need to help, silly Forlorn. Hope is false. Hope hurts little ones in the end. The Forest King spoke so gently to Ember. Perhaps they could rest here for a while. It was hard to know what else to say. Clever little Ember. You will stay. You will not turn forlorn. Search for hope no more. Now take this feather. Feather means Ember is one of us now. Birds keep little ones safe. Birds should never leave the nest. The guards seem pleased. Clever Scruff sticking with us. I can hold that bag for you. Leave them alone, they're one of us now. Yeah, one of us. And we all shares bags and things. The guard squawked. Stand back, don't come any closer. Nothing down there but sadness and turning forlorn. Go see the Forest King. He'll set you straight. Got your first feather, I see. Best prove yourself. Stand watch here. Promise you won't let anyone pass. Ember didn't like deceiving the birds. But what choice did they have? They couldn't rest in that place forever. They had to keep going. Ember hurried away from the birds. The mist hung close to Ember, hiding them. The Forest King seemed frightened. The birds crew. Ember would rather risk turning forlorn than become like them. Ahead there would be others to help, and maybe a way to move on. The traveler seemed distressed. I'm sure it's fine. They'll be okay. But it's been a while since... It's my fault. The traveler whispered quietly. No matter where I go, I always end up here. No matter where I go, always here. It looked like a map, but pieces were missing. peace formed a new root. It was the same place as before. But how? An eerie scene, like a moment frozen in time. Hidden away was a scrap of journal. There were memories here, bound in rock. I hear their voices echo in the ancient stone. I find footprints by the cinders, a makeshift camp. Gradually, more of the map was revealed. It was like the map had been broken on purpose. The mist revealed a secret place. Was it hidden on purpose? The stranger spoke. You know, part of me didn't want to be found. I said some things I shouldn't have. And now I'm lost. But it's too late. The stranger spoke. I said some things and now I'm lost. But it's too late. The skeleton looked peaceful. Held tightly in its hand was a red feather. The statue spoke. Just as it once moved the hearts of the Forlorn, the instrument you now hold has the power to move the world around you, another before you, to great effort to hide it deep within this riddle. The lanthorn began to glow. The skeleton held tightly in its hand was a red feather. Inside was a secret diary entry. Pink, orange, red, brown, leaves gently dancing to the ground. Crunch, crackle, lovely sound, fall into a giant mound. There was one last place to reach on the map. sleeping pig. Trotters in the air. They looked happy. The plant looked like it could take a hand off, and it was in Ember's way. The way through was ruined. Muffled by the fog, Ember was sure they heard a rumble. Could that have been a tremendous snow? A sleeping pig. Trotters in the air. They looked happy. Ember chuckled. The dangerous plant was no match for a hungry piggy. A hideous odor filled the air. And suddenly, the reason was obvious. The pig inhaled a giant snort of air. Wait, what's that delicious smell? Ember shuffled nervously. Other embers fed me treats, but then stopped. You feed me now. skull was disgusting. Perhaps the pig would like it. As the pig chewed, a light grew in its belly. Crunchy, embery. Not much meat, but what I want is a flavor with more spark. The pig would eat anything. Ember just needed to find more. And with each thing it ate, the light grew even brighter. Fruity, fresh, but tastes a lot like mud. But what I want is a flavor with more spark. Perhaps if Ember could satisfy the pig, they might be more helpful. It was junk. Maybe the pig would eat some junk. This was the last thing Ember could find to offer. Surprising, a little sparky, but tingly in belly. But what I want is... The pig's stomach made an almighty sound. Ember chuckled with relief at the large creature they had been so afraid of. The pig had vanished, but something moved beneath the surface. In a muddy pond, Ember thought the pig looked a lot less imposing. The pig shouted joyously. "The water feels so good on the skin. Join me, morsel." The pig seemed happy, but Ember wasn't getting too close. Why do I consume whatever people put in front of me? I need some true nourishment, but there's none left here. But so much cooler in this muddy pond, I can finally think. Thank you, morsel. The pot had turned cold. The fire had died. Nothing the cook made felt good enough. Endlessly stirring the same tasteless pot. Couldn't focus, sleepwalking through the days. Aimed inwards was a swirl of thoughts. In the eye of the storm, a fragile flicker. They wanted to serve something perfect. But couldn't hold on. The praise of others was hollow. The cook felt numb and hurt all at once. The cook spoke softly. "Oh, hello, little one. I didn't see you. I must have lost myself for a moment." "It's supposed to be my new soup recipe, but it's not ready. It's not done." A wonderful smell wafted towards Ember. "You look starving, poor thing. Have a little taste." But it's not. It was the most beautiful thing Ember had ever tasted. I know. It got no flavor, nothing. Ember wished the cook would believe them. Oh, I'd forgotten how good it feels feeding folk. But it's not ready. There's no need to pretend just to make me feel better. The cook stirred their soup, looking at Ember, looking at the pot, stirring, thinking. Soon, maybe. Oh, I used to love this. Just want to be good at it. But it feels like I'm making the same things over and over. Nothing has flavor. I'm stuck. If you know what you want, I can try. But I really need some better ingredients. Something from the orchard could have worked, if it was still standing. Oh. The cook struggled to hold back their emotions. Pigs have gotten in me orchard. Planted every sapling I did. All me hard work ruined. Take the key and have a look yourself. I can't bear to. See if anything is left, but I promise you, there won't be. cheerily, the stranger said. Don't say much. Remind me of one of those golem statues. Stood there, mouth open. I like you. Ember found a secret note from the Wanderer. Something beckons. This place is not home. I trace the map in my head, recite the older myths. I have to move on. Ember came upon another campfire lost in the wilderness. It looked long, the ghost said. Speak and I will listen. This is the hollow marsh. Here hope was consumed before it could flourish. You must not lose hope, or you too will turn forlorn. Ember thought of those they loved, those they'd left behind. There are others lost along their journey. Find them and I will guide them. Down steps to your east, travel the path south, watching a pig grow unhappy, a forlorn lost hope. The orchard gate was locked and needed a key. Ember placed the key in the lock and slowly began to turn it. The cook was right. The pigs had destroyed everything. The pig was stuffed to bursting, having filled up on fruit in the orchard. The pig was stuffed to bursting, having filled up on fruit in the orchard. The pig was stuffed to bursting, having filled up on fruit in the orchard. The pig devoured the fruit with careless abandon. The frog seemed nervous, but also relieved to see Ember. They told Ember that the birds had let all the pigs into the orchard, and that the pigs had eaten everything, all whilst the birds watched and laughed. Except one precious thing the frog had managed to keep safe. The frog offered the lotus seeds to Ember. They pleaded for Ember to take the lotus seeds to their old friend the cook, as the frog knew how important good ingredients were in hard times. Hello there. I can't believe... Where did you... I've never cooked with lotus seeds before. Ember felt happy seeing the cook suddenly so full of purpose. What a lovely surprise. Please try some. It's not much, but there's plenty to go around. Help yourself. Be well, little one. And do remember me if you are ever hungry. The pig was joyous. What is this, morsel? My insides feel as refreshed as my outs. I did not dream such food was possible. We will plant a garden of treats. We will grow and eat like piggy kings. Compliments to the chef. The ghost said, "Speak and I will listen." The forest king watches the doors. The campfire will light the way. Find those who are lost. Bring embers to the fire. Travel wisely. Return if you have lost your way. The ghost said, "Speak and I will listen." The forest king watches the doors. The campfire will light the way. Find those who are lost. Bring embers to the fire. Down steps to your east, travel the path south, watching a pig grow unhappy, a forlorn lost hope. The stranger puzzled over their journey. Some steps felt effortless. Some steps seemed impossible. Again and again they returned to the past. Twisted by unseen. Gratefully, the stranger said, "Friend, thank you. We all help each other along the path.